Hi guys, I made a prediction about Bitcoin in Jan 2020. Let's have a look and see if I was right. I'm talking Bitcoin today, and I thought the time was right for this because we've seen this massive crash in Bitcoin and, well, all the cryptos really. There's a couple of reasons why I'm doing this video, and it won't be too long. The negative sentiment is the main thing, but I want to show some people a comparison to 2.5 years ago and how it's actually not that negative. It just feels like that. And that's due to human expectation, I would imagine. Um, but if you really go back 2.5 years, some of you who are new to the market might be a bit shocked. So let's just jump into it. I made a few predictions on actually. There's a series of videos that I did where I was so confident that we were about to enter a growth phase in 2020. I said that 2020 was going to be just a great year for blockchain in terms of adoption and all of these things. It seems like a very easy prediction now, but it actually wasn't due to what would happen in March that year. So I made a series of videos and I started on the 4th of Jan 2020. And I said that um, not only is it going to be quite positive, but uh, the best investment at that time was Ethereum. Even if you were at that stage a Bitcoin maxi, the best investment was still Ethereum, and I'll outline why. Before I get into the numbers and details, which might scare you, right? If I just go back here, okay, I'm going to take it through there, right? So you'll see that at the start of 2020, we had been flat for more than 2 years. And we were hoping that we were at the end of that cycle, and post the halving, a new cycle would begin. And we expected the cycle to play out a lot like the previous three cycles, which if it did, and you've seen the log chart, especially for Bitcoin, if it did, then there was surely to be some good news coming. And then what happened, this dip here, never forget this, was March 2020, the impact of the coronavirus. So the stock market tanked and the crypto markets as well. And that's something that still annoys me today because it's kind of what happened here. And I'm showing the Ethereum chart. I'll show the Bitcoin one in a sec. But basically, what's annoying me is that the crypto is still tethered. It's not. It hasn't broken free, and many have spoken about why they feel it's still like that. So coming back to this, we had that, and the first point of the video, the sentiment was so bad at that stage. Everybody thought that crypto would go to zero. I actually made a video saying I don't think it's dead, please, but it didn't impact as many people because look at where we were going. We were heading down there in any case, right? If you just look at Ethereum, and in some ways, this just shook up the market and it was a fantastic opportunity to get in. But even in Jan, so there's December and Jan there, right? So I said, do this. I'm so confident in my prediction. All you have to do is buy Ethereum and you're actually going to get a double gain. The performance of Ethereum through the 2018 bear market was terrible. The Ethereum Bitcoin ratio just tanked, and that was the opportunity for me. So Bitcoin was, in my mind at the time, surely to gain against the dollar. These are the numbers from the 4th of Jan 2020. And Ethereum was going to gain on Bitcoin because of this Ethereum Bitcoin ratio. So if you bought Ethereum, you could effectively get a double gain. And I don't think I explained it very well because people didn't believe me or said I was crazy and just ignored everything. The one reason I'm doing it is just to show you, yeah, okay, I got a few things right. But the other reason, the main reason is just if you've been in crypto here, right? I mean, if you got in somewhere there, and now you're seeing this, this is what, people who've been into blockchain for almost a decade have gotten used to, right? Really. And uh, yeah, I mean, we don't know how much it's going to fall, but given the developments, we're pretty sure it's going to go back up again. We didn't have all those developments here in March 2020. We didn't have El Salvador. We didn't have, um, you know, the other countries coming on board like Central African Republic. We didn't have development on the Lightning Network, Strike, all of those wonderful things. So here's the Bitcoin chart, right? Uh, this gives you a better idea. So you can actually compare those to that's the low that we hit. It's showing 5,000, but I'm pretty sure we hit 3,000 on that one particular day. Now, the reason the cycles haven't played out, remember at that stage, another thing that's quite important was that people were doing these models, and the stock to flow was probably the most famous. I know he's getting a lot of shtick at the moment. He actually tweeted today, 21st of May, that he's got a new stock to flow model that shows 50K, and 100K was a bit optimistic, but he still thinks it's going to 400. And the thing is, his model, which is focusing on this here, could not have predicted externalities, external events. And this is something that economists talk about, right? What externalities do we have? Well, we had a war in somewhere about here, okay? And we had inflation. Now, you might say the inflation was due to the money printing here because of the COVID rescue, But let's be honest, they were printing money. Go back and check. They were printing money before that. And many people said the stock market would tank and we would have a lot of inflation. People were saying it since 2018 or even before that, let's be honest. So that's the other thing. And there's just the whole geopolitical situation. China, Russia, even before Russian invasion of Ukraine, countries wanting to get off the petrodollar. I mean, there were countries trading with Russia in rubles before this war with Ukraine. I mean, did you know that? So the decade of the 2020s was going to be a bit of an earthquake in terms of geopolitics, and we knew that. Many people saw that coming. Models cannot predict that, and the reason I think, and one of the reasons I'm doing the video, I think the sentiment here is a lot bearish, lot more bearish than here, due simply to the weight of expectation. The people that got in here were used to or were promised very quick and easy returns. A lot of that was due to the dog coin phenomenon, the Doge and Shiba and all of that. And then we had DeFi scams, number two. People were making money. Remember, in 2020, there was this compound thing. South African chap, actually, Andre Cronje, was involved in that whole protocol. Sorry, not compound. It was the I forgotten the name. I'm not a big DeFi guy. So anyway, I'll go through this, and then you'll say, okay, so you were right. So now what? So that'll come at the end, right? I'll tell you what I'm going to think. I said, you can look at the video, the 4th of Jan, buy 10 Ethereum. It's only $133. Going to cost you $1,330. For that, you get 10 Ethereum. If you bought Bitcoin for that money at that Bitcoin price, you would have got 0.18 Bitcoin. I'll tell you the why. The why is more important than the what. The Bitcoin, well, look, you're still doing almost a 4.5 times on Bitcoin. Bitcoin's crashed. But look at the numbers here, right? So when we hit 56K, you were almost at a 10x. That's what Bitcoin did. 9x, 8x, something like that. But the real reason is this. Look at how at that very low, the Ethereum Bitcoin ratio has been climbing. And the interesting thing is it hasn't stopped climbing, right? So there's 2 points here for the future that I'm going to talk about. But long story short, I even created an equation. It didn't really take off, and nobody cared. But if you had, you could have worked out, uh, the gain, the Ethereum Bitcoin ratio. Many people just trade this as well, so traders know about this. For me, at the time, let's get into the why. I said that this was just too low. The high was 0.14. It was less than a tenth of the high. You could make a 10x on the gain on Bitcoin alone. Now, a couple of points going forward. Number one, I'm less bullish on Ethereum than I was here. Firstly, because we've made a lot of ground on that Ethereum Bitcoin ratio. Secondly, more importantly, we've had 2.5 years of delays on Ethereum. There's more competitors. Still think Ethereum is more decentralized, but there's a ton of technical issues on Ethereum. We still don't have Ethereum 2.0. We're very close. So for me, I'm not anti-Ethereum, by the way. I've been a big fan and I'm talking about smart contracts and the potential of smart contracts. But everything I've just mentioned brings in a bit of risk. So there's two things that could happen here. If that risk builds up and there's further delays, this could be steady, or it could maybe drop back. If things go smoothly and there just is a swell in positive sentiment around Ethereum, then this could go back to that 0.14. And the Ethereum guys talk about the flippening. Right now, you can't see that really. That could happen. That is just a metric between these two. What about the price outside of Ethereum, Bitcoin, looking at the currency term in dollar? Okay. So, I mean, for me, yeah, foolish to think we've had 2.5 years of development, which I mentioned, right? And you're seeing people in Africa use it for remittances. There's rumors now with the geopolitics that uh, countries could settle in Bitcoin. Russia said we will consider Bitcoin for payment. They said it openly. Turkey said something about Bitcoin. Iran said something about Bitcoin. Just this week, we saw a whole bunch of countries go to El Salvador. I think it was about 20 countries. 5 of those go back home and actually action something. Let's say the other 15 listen to him. What's his name? Bukele. Yeah, it's a great idea, but it sounds great, but we're not going to do anything now. But let's say the other, we just 5. We just need 5. Go back and do an El Salvador. All of that is going to be so good for this, right? So for me, I think all this is due to 3 externalities: war, inflation, geopolitics. That those 3, the cycle is not playing out like previous cycles. I also think Benjamin Cohen was right about the lengthening cycle. Bob Lucas talks about the 4-year cycle. We've now broken that. It's not, because we should be at a high. If 65 or 69, I think we almost got to 69 was the high, the percentage growth was a lot less than previous cycles. Okay. Do I think that's a cycle high? I'm not I don't think anyone, even if you're a maestro with all this technical analysis. So I just think, whatever happens, I don't think it'll go too much lower, but I think, it's still positive based on the developments. But coming back to this, I think, you have to look at where we were. We were in a much worse situation, but people are more bearish now. And you shouldn't really be, if you understand blockchain and what it offers, especially what it offers countries around the world. If you're an American, it might be harder to actually see it because you've been protected economically all these decades, really, with the petrodollar. Otherwise, I've said it before, people in Africa get Bitcoin almost better than anyone else. They just get it, right? Even people in Asia. I'm not sure about South America, but I mean, we've seen El Salvador. So, this all worked out great, and it was 100% correct. I'm not sure how much more growth. And remember, I'm normally someone very positive in my predictions, right? And you can go back and watch the old videos, or don't, because they're a bit cringy. But um, I mean, this was easy. But even here, and here I said I think it'll go continue climbing, but we had the three externalities that I mentioned. But I think it's just it'll just take longer. But this is what I'm worried about. I see problems in the Ethereum ecosystem, and the one strategy was you buy 10 Ethereum for 1,300. The moment this gets to 0.1, you swap it out for a Bitcoin, and you've effectively got one Bitcoin for $1,300. Imagine that, one Bitcoin for $1,300. I made the video. You can read the comments. People were like, "Nah, you're crazy." Bitcoin price was 7, and then it very quickly rose. But actually, I was right, because if I look at Ethereum Bitcoin, let me try and find this quickly. We actually hit 0.9. So there we go. Okay, we actually hit somewhere here late last year, right? So there we go. 0.8, 0.86, almost 0.9. But if you look at 0.9, this is where I'll use my equation. Well, people don't like the equation. It's too complex. But yeah, if you look at it, 0.9, you would have 0.9 of a Bitcoin for that price. Okay, so your Bitcoin's costing you about $1,500, and at that time, Bitcoin price November was, yeah, that's it went to the highs. Yeah, I imagine that 67,000. You could have done 60x if you listened to me. Okay, did I listen to me? I'm not going to answer that. Anyway, so I hope you enjoyed that, and just the takeaways from the long boring video was I think number one, it's just another cycle. This is temporary. Be on its way again soon. I mean, people are jumping around saying, "Oh, it's gonna go to zero," but I mean, it was closer to zero in March 2020. People are more bearish now, and that's the one thing. The other thing is, uh, we've had more developments happening, more adoption, and then the prediction is you want to continue playing ETH Bitcoin. I think just watch the news carefully. I'm not as confident now we're going to go to 0.14. I think that could be flat or even drop slightly. It's been in the 7-6 range for the last few months. So I've been watching that. Yeah, so that's it. Make another one in a few months' time, or if I come up with something interesting, or if I find something interesting, I'll do a bit of an update. So hope that was useful. See you next time.